Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, what we're going to talk about in this video are 5 different short updates on 5 cases that at some point in time we're either covering at the moment or we have covered. And they're all sort of very short updates, but put together will probably make quite a long video. Later I will be chopping them up and separate them and releasing them as shorter videos. So if you prefer a shorter video, or if you're only interested in one of these cases that we're going to talk about, you could wait for that. Or if not, I hope you'll stay here with me and go through the cases with me live, and of course put your comments. And I'm always very interested to hear your comments, whatever they are, as long as they're not disrespectful, of course, to me or to the victims or the families particularly. But yeah, we all have our views, we all have our opinions, and as I say, as long as we respect the rules of chat, the general YouTube rules of engagement, then that's fine. I'd love to hear from you, your comments. Anyway, so we're going to look at 5 different cases. So we're going to have a look at the case of Celeste Rivas, which we haven't covered for a while because no arrest has been made. There's been no official confirmation of anything, but I'm going to talk about something that was allegedly found in David's home. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Jon Benet Ramsay. Now, every year coming up to Christmas, something comes up about little Jon Benet's case. She was a little girl, probably the most famous sort of murder of a child in America, isn't it? Because it's as yet unsolved. Jon Benet Ramsay, and apparently there is evidence, new evidence. But, or do they say that every year when it comes up to Christmas, to the anniversary of Jon Benet's death? It's been 30 years now, and nobody has been held accountable for the death of that little girl. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. Is there really new evidence or not? We're going to hear from Jon Benet's dad, who spoke on News Nation. We're also going to have a look at the case of Paul Doyle. He's the Liverpool attacker, the guy that ramroded into the crowds of the celebrating crowds when Liverpool won the Premier League in the UK in the summer. And he has been sentenced to 21.5 years. Good, I say. And now there's been sort of some CCTV released of his arrest, and also dashcam, his own dashcam, that shows he was driving recklessly even before he got to Liverpool. How this man has managed not to get any other previous conviction for driving offences, I have no idea. But anyway, we're going to look at that. Briefly, what else are we going to look at? Oh yeah, the latest from the court hearings in the Anna Kepner cruise ship murder case. Again, nobody has been arrested still in that case. But what we're going to look at is the court case, not about her murder, but about the family court case that is going on at the moment between Anna's stepmother and the father of her children. There's a custody battle going on. And we're going to look at some of the interesting things that have been said in that court case that give a highlight on the family dynamics in this family. Poor Anna, that's all I can say. And why has nobody been arrested? What, it's a bit like the David case, Celeste case. It's like there's no official arrest been made, no suspects, proper suspects. I think David has been named as a suspect in the Celeste Rivas case. But remember, I said I wasn't going to cover it anymore because it was all getting too confusing. The only reason I want to come on and tell you about this piece of evidence that's allegedly found in David's house, because I think it is relevant. So we're going to talk about the Anna Kepner case. And then last of all, very interesting, we're going to talk about the Rob and his wife Michelle, who were, of course, found murdered at the weekend. Rob, the Reiner, the film director, and his son Nick appeared in court yesterday. I did a deep dive about this case. There's a video out there that I did yesterday. And then, of course, because it's an ongoing case, he then appeared in court. So we're going to have a look at his court appearance. He was in the suicide prevention vest, apparently. And also, we're going to look at a YouTube video that has surfaced from his YouTube channel from 9 years ago that might give us a bit of an insight into what was going on with Nick Reiner and the mental health struggles that he was going through. And yeah, we'll have to wait till January before we find out what his plea is going to be, because he hasn't given a plea yet, what the defence is going to be, etc. That's the next court hearing in January. But we'll have a look at the court hearing yesterday and see what his lawyer said, and have a look at this YouTube video. So yeah, 5 cases we're going to talk about in this video. First of all, I just want to say thank you to you all for watching, for liking, for subscribing. Please think about liking and subscribing this video, because it's free. It's free. And if you want to support my channel, if you do enjoy watching my videos, please subscribe. Very special thank you as always to my members. Today's Thursday, and there will be a members live every Thursday. There's a special exclusive members live, so if you want to join in that live exclusively, please become a member. Also, thank you to those of you who've sent me Ko-fis. It just means the world when people send me a Ko-fi or a super sticker. This week in particular, it's been a difficult week because there was so much bad news coming out. There still is. Oh my God, seriously, it makes you think about giving up, like reporting on these cases, because it really is so soul destroying sometimes to see the harm that people can do to each other. But also then, I sort of feel a bit better about it now, because I do feel, these cases need to be reported on. These people, these victims especially, they need to be remembered. Their names should not be forgotten. It's important. And the other thing is, the outrage that we feel about these cases, it's good that we feel outrage. It's good that we feel upset, because you know what, when the day comes that we don't feel outraged anymore and we don't feel upset, that's a really sad day, isn't it? If the day ever arrives where we just think, oh, it doesn't mean anything, these people don't mean anything, because we just get desensitized. So it's good that we continue to be outraged. And these people, especially the people who are deceased in the cases we talk about, they don't always have a voice, do they, afterwards? But we can be their voice. And a sense of outrage is good, isn't it? Really, we should feel outraged. So thank you, because it's those kind of things, people becoming members or buying me Ko-fi. As I say, it's not just the financial support of it, it's the moral support. It makes me feel like, people say nice things. They buy a Ko-fi and they put a nice message, thanking me for the videos, and it just makes me feel good. It just gives me a nice feeling. So thank you so much. Yeah. Now, hello, you lovely lurkers. Thank you for watching. Hello, replay crew. Thank you for watching. I see there's not many people in chat at the moment. Hi, Lily, Paulie. Hope you're well. It's just you and me in chat at the moment. But I'm sure more people will come along as we go along. So I think we will start with Paul Doyle. So Paul Doyle was, well, still is. So this is the Liverpool Ram Raider, if you like, or he's the guy who completely spoilt the celebrations for the Liverpool football team in the UK, who just won the Premier League. They had a brilliant day. The team bus went through the streets. There was ticker tape and red smoke, and they were holding they'd won the Premier League, the UK Premier League, for the first time for years, after years of being in the wilderness. And this man got frustrated because he couldn't get where he wanted to go as quickly as he wanted to get there because of the crowds. And so what he did was just rammed into them all. There were over 140 injuries. And by some miracle, nobody was killed. Unbelievable. He mowed down women with prams, a baby, elderly people, children, families. He was indiscriminate in who he mowed down. Anyway, luckily, he initially pleaded not guilty, but finally changed his plea to guilty, and he has been sentenced to 21 years. He will probably serve maybe 15 years, 16 years, before, and then he'll be out on license, or he'll have to apply for parole or whatever. But anyway, he's going away for a long time, and good. And then the more we find out about this man, the worse it gets, isn't it? Because then we found out during the trial that in his youth, and, because he was a Royal Marine, but he had to be discharged from the Royal Marines because he was violent and aggressive. He was deciding no longer to be of service. He bit off somebody's ear in a fight. He had various convictions and arrests for violent behaviour. So, although they were trying to make him out to be this normal family man who'd never done anything wrong before, wasn't quite true, was it? But he hadn't been in trouble for quite a long time. How? I don't know. So anyway, what they've released now, I don't believe that he hasn't done anything in all that time. Just don't believe it. I think he's probably done quite a few things. He just hasn't. He's been lucky enough not to be arrested for it. How could he change so quickly like that? Because the things that he'd done as well, they weren't just little things. Biting someone's ear off in a fight, that is not normal, is it? It's not just a brawl, or that is really, real extreme violence. So he's not a nice man. He wasn't a nice man. He might have been a nice, quiet neighbour that all the neighbours thought was great, but there's more to this man, definitely. And I don't believe for a minute that for the past 30 years he hasn't done anything wrong. Just don't believe it. Hi, David. Yeah, exactly. Hi, Daniel. You do not, the Royal Marines don't get rid of you for nothing. Do you know, especially after they've trained you up and what have you. Anyway, so basically, I just want to show, for anyone who might be, because apparently some people think his sentence was too long. I don't, not after I watched, if you sit and listen to the trial, and I covered it on here, we sat through it and heard about all his previous offences and how he was on that day. But anyway, you might feel, if you did think his sentence was too long, you might feel differently now when you have a look at this this video, when I can find it, of course, as always. No, this man, where is it? We can see that even on the way there, oh my God, where has that disappeared to? On the way there to, because apparently he was going there, wasn't he, to pick up a friend. And on the way there, he was driving through red lights, driving erratically. You know, he was already driving erratically. Where is it? Is this it? I swear there's gremlins in my computer, because I've got everything ready that I'm going to show you. And the first one that I'm going to look at seems to have disappeared. Because they've released his dash cam, and they've released the footage of him being arrested. And for some reason, it's completely disappeared off my screen. Can't have done, can it? Let's have a look. Is this it? What's this? Yeah, this is it. I knew I had it there somewhere. So this is the CCTV, if you like, or the body cam. First of all, of his arrest, but also you will see his own dash cam showing how he was driving, going to this event, driving through red lights. I think this was his actual arrest from the body cam. And this was shown in court.
Yeah, but camera's off.
Let's go.
This side. Get him in. On the floor.
Jesus Christ, that was horrible, he said. As if it was nothing to do with him.
Yeah, but camera's off.
My life is ruined now. My life. So he's just mowed into all those people injured, over 140 people. And he says, my life's ruined now. Honestly, this man, the more I hear about him, the more I just think, yeah, just go to prison. I haven't put him in the hellhole because he didn't actually kill anyone by some absolute miracle. But do you know what? He deserves to go in the hellhole, to be honest.
Right, no pressure on your legs now, mate. There's no pressure on your legs. Right? Thank you. Right, just stay exactly there. I got you. All right? Yeah.
I just, I really don't understand what he thought he was going to achieve by barging through all these people. And, they say he had no alcohol or drugs in his system. It's unbelievable, really, isn't it? What on earth was he thinking? It's just the most pointless crime, really.
That's just ruined and affected so many lives.
That's just ruined and affected so many lives. What? And don't forget the other thing, when he was first taken in, he made up some cock and bull story that some guy with a knife had got into his car and threatened him, and that's why he did it. So he told lies to begin with as well, apparently.
Please, Paul Doyle. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, he's a Liverpudlian. You can hear in his accent. He was supposedly going there to pick up a friend and his family. He knew what was going on. Why did he get himself into that position? Did he really think that he would just be able to, he's so special he could just drive through everybody? See how he snuck in behind that ambulance? So this ambulance is trying to get through these crowds because somebody obviously had some sort of health alert, and he's trying to overtake the ambulance. Yeah. Prosecutors said the footage showed that Doyle thought he was the most important person on Dale Street. He's just overtaken, and even the ambulance is going slow through those crowds, and the ambulance is there trying to save someone's life. He's the most important person. It's honestly, the more I hear about this man, the more I think I wish it would have been 30 years. So the crowd's getting angry with him there, but look, and then he just burst into the ambulance. Let's just see that again. So he literally reversed, hit the ambulance, as well as mowing people down. Oh. Anyway, this is his own dashcam footage showing him on his way to the incident, on his way to pick up his friend. He's driving too fast along these small roads, and he's running red lights and everything. Look, great. The way he's driving, they're having to run out of his way. But what makes him so important? God. So there's more to. I'm just a little bit speechless because. So he can't claim at all, can he, that this was uncharacteristic of him? Because look at the way he was driving beforehand. Let's just watch that again from him going through the red light. I wonder if he didn't kill anybody on the way there. What was so important? The lights are flashing and he's just going through. So yeah, don't forget they had set up all this trial and everything. It probably cost the taxpayer a fortune. And then just moments before his trial was due to begin, because he was pleading not guilty, he changed his plea. Look at the carnage that he left behind. What should have been a day of celebration, of joy, families there, from babies to elderly people. He did not give a toss.
The moment I realised something had happened is when I was struck from behind. So as I was walking in front of the ambulance, as I said before, to the left-hand side of it, the passenger side, I was struck with almighty force from behind, which has then sent me flying over to the right-hand side and landed.
Imagine that, a paramedic. He's there to help people. And this twonk just crashes into him deliberately because he is more important than everybody.
In the gutter on Water Street, as I've put my hands out to brace myself, as you normally would, and then as I've been in the gutter, there was a number of people around me and on the floor. As I've looked left, I've seen a car. I've then seen the car reverse lights come on and start heading back up towards Water Street, and it was at that point, in my mind, I immediately thought I'm in the middle of a terrorist incident.
Yeah, everyone thought it was a terrorist incident, didn't they? You would think that, So 78 people had their victim impact statements read to the court. That wasn't even all of them. There was 140 people injured. and they had to cut down the number of actual charges to make it manageable for the jury. They had to, wonder if he did that on purpose, because then just before the trial started, he pled guilty. So, but some of those charges, of course, against him couldn't be, because it had already been cut down so that it was sort of palatable for a jury, because it was such a massive amount of people that he injured. Oh, he's a horrible man. So his barrister said he was remorseful, ashamed, and deeply sorry for all those who had suffered. I don't think he's sorry for them. He's sorry for himself. That's all he's sorry for. He only changed his plea when he realised he wasn't going to get anywhere. He only admitted what he did when, he came out with that cock and bull story, first of all, about somebody entering his car with a knife and making him do it practically, or scaring him. He's told lie after lie after lie. He's just an aggressive bully, and there's no way in this 30 years since he left the Royal Marines that he hasn't done anything else aggressive. He's just been lucky enough not to be caught for it. So I just wanted to show you that, because anybody who might have a residual feel sorry for this man, there's nothing to feel sorry for. He went through red lights on his way there. He nearly knocked those people over that were crossing the pedestrian crossing. He's a horrible man. He's an aggressive man. He deserves every year of the 21 and a half years or whatever that he's been sentenced to. He deserves all of it and more, in my opinion. But let me know what maybe you still think he's been hard done by. But anyway, we all have our views, don't we? Okay, so this is that was the first thing that I wanted to talk about. Now we're going to talk about this case of this little girl, Jon Benet Ramsay. Oh, I don't think there'll be many of you out there who don't know about this case. This little girl who went to beauty pageants. Gosh, where do we start with this case? I'm not going to go into the whole case from start to finish because, I think most people probably know about Jon Benet Ramsay. I have done if you search on my channel, I've done a couple of videos, I think, about Jon Benet. But basically, she was found murdered, wasn't she, in the basement of her own home. Was it Christmas Day or New Year's Day? It was around about let's just get the dates up because the dates escape me. So, every year around Christmas time, it was 1996, December the 25th. Yeah, Christmas Day. The night of December 25, her body was found in the house's basement 7 hours after she'd been reported missing. Now, it's a very mysterious case because there was a ransom note found. To put this case in a nutshell, over the years, most of or certainly in the beginning, most of the attention of the police was turned on the family. Jon Benet's mum, Jon Benet's dad, and her brother Blake. Now, despite the fact that, as far as I know, all three have been cleared by DNA tests, that there is unknown DNA on Jon Benet, and it's thought that this is the killer. But it was very strange, wasn't it? How did they get in her house? How did they have the time to do? Because she, you know, it was quite a grisly death that she endured, this little girl, and her body was desecrated. She was garroted. I mean, it was horrible. And then this really strange sort of ransom note left, and you know, it's a very, very weird case. And the police were fixed on the family from the first instance, weren't they? And I think that the public have not sort of forgotten that. I mean, even to this day, the public is still, a lot of the public, I should say, I have no idea. I don't have a view about this really, as to whether it was the family or not. A lot of the public are still convinced. Now, her mum has passed on now. Her dad is still alive, and her brother, Blake, is still alive. You know, a lot of the general public are still convinced, you know, the answers lie at home rather than elsewhere, despite the fact that DNA evidence has, to all intents and purposes, cleared them. But every year, coming up to Christmas, even be it, it's been 30 years now, but still, there's like a review of the case. And it seems like every year they'll say, oh, there's some new evidence, we've got new leads, or blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, bloody, blah. Never comes to anything, does it? Never comes to anything. This case remains unsolved. This poor little girl has never had justice. Nobody has been found accountable for a horrible death. And it really was. She suffered a terrible death. You know, just no two ways about it. And she's had no justice. So, just the same as always this year, coming up to Christmas, supposedly new evidence has come to light. Now, of course, everybody's saying that, oh, it's different this time. It's different this time. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. I've seen it happen. Sorry, Burke, Lily. Yeah, Burke. No, you're right, not Blake. I don't know where I got Blake from. Yeah, it's Burke, not Blake. Thank you, Lily, for correcting me on that. I don't know where I've got Blake from there, but anyway. Yeah, I'm not convinced that it's going to be any different this year. But let's see. So Jon Benet's dad, every year Jon Ramsay comes out and gets interviewed on News Nation or one of these news channels and says, oh yeah, we're hoping for new developments and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not blaming him. I mean, but apparently there's somebody new in charge now and they're determined that there's going to be newer. Let's see what Jon Benet's dad, John, said in his interview with News Nation. And then you tell me what you think. Do you think it's likely there's going to be a breakthrough, or is this just going to be, you know? So this is News Nation. This is Ashley Banfield. And what is the new evidence in Jon Benet case? Let's have a look. What indeed?
Jon Benet's dad, Jon Ramsay, is still waiting for answers and still believing a breakthrough will come. And Jon joins me now live. Jon, I can't even count how many times you and I meet at this time of year to discuss what's new, what's happening, what's different, what's changed. But something does feel different this year. To hear Chief Redfern say that they've got new evidence, that they've retested old evidence, and that they're using outside experts. Let's start with the new evidence and the retesting of old evidence. Have they told you?
Now, this thing about outside experts, of course, DNA evidence, there is DNA. They did have DNA of a person, unknown person. And of course, DNA evidence changes, you know, new things coming all the time. Of course, now we've got this genealogy, you know, we can track people through their families and things like that. So I suppose it is all possible, but, you know, I'm not holding my breath on this, but we'll see.
Anything about that?
Well, Chief Redfern told us, actually, I don't know, September, we had a meeting with him, and that he had submitted evidence for additional DNA testing. He didn't say what evidence it was, but that it was submitted again. Or perhaps new. We don't know if it was new or stuff that had been tested before. We, of course, have advocated that if certain evidence that was taken from the crime scene has never been sampled, that it ought to be. The main one being the garrote that was used to strangle my daughter.
Yeah, she was garroted, this little girl. I mean, it's disgusting. So this was the family sort of back in happier times. And Jon Benet's mum, she's got this big cross on there, hasn't she? But anyway, she died of cancer without, still being under suspicion, if you like. Now a lot of people still think she knew something about it. I mean, there's, I think part of the reason why people blame the family is this pageant thing, as you said earlier, David. People don't like it. You don't dress little girls up, in my opinion, dressing little girls. I know little girls love to dress up, but putting them in beauty pageants from that young age, it's just horrible, isn't it? I personally think it's horrible, and it's often more about the mums than it is about the kids. The mums living their sort of dreams vicariously through their kids. So I think, that sort of general distaste for that whole beauty pageantry thing, that hasn't helped with the aspersions that have been cast on this family. But it is awful if they said family are innocent, which the police seem to have cleared them, to have all this shade cast at them for so many years.
So it's encouraging, and the key really in progress has been the addition of new leadership there. It was not very good for 25, 26 years. And brought in Chief Red from the outside. I've met with him 3 or 4 times. I'm impressed with him. I think he's sincere and honest. And so I'm encouraged. And, we've advocated.
I can't believe, John, I can't believe that the chiefs in the past haven't seen it as a priority, if only to become, famous in name as the chief that solved this case. It just defies logic that it's taken 3 decades for someone to come along who maybe does make this a priority and who has the chops. Do you know if they have enlisted labs like Othram? And I bring up Othram because it's famous for having solved the Idaho murders.
Yeah, no, Othram is one of the few cutting-edge labs that can do investigative.
Now, Othram, they're just brilliant. I follow them on Twitter, and they're often, tweeting that they've helped to identify remains that have been found, etc. Cases not as high profile as Jon Benet's, but because that's the other thing that Othram do. Not only to identify perpetrators, but they also, of course, they can help to identify, remains that have been found and link them, people who've lost their loved ones, maybe through self-deletion or accident or whatever, give and remains, John Does, Jane Does that have been found over the years. Every day on their Twitter feed, they're talking about people that they've managed to identify, which is brilliant, isn't it? Because it gives some closure to the loved ones of missing people that maybe have been missing for years and years, but they were always there, but they just couldn't be identified. So Othram, whether this is because he did specifically mention outside agency, didn't he? So is that Othram? I mean, we don't know. So apparently they're going to have a meeting in January.
Genetic genealogy, IgG is the term for it. And we've been advocating that the Border Police do that, use that technology in our case. I think if they do, we've got probably a 70-80% chance of getting an answer. It's been very successful in solving old cold cases. It's kind of the latest and greatest use of technology and DNA to solve crimes. And
You know, I'm going to tell you something. When I saw the posting of Chief Redfern, I went deep down in the comments and I was reading the comments. And John, I'm not going to lie, I was so disheartened to see how many people out there still believe you had something to do with it, despite the fact, and let me repeat this loud and clear, that the Boulder police and everybody else involved in investigating the murder of your daughter, they have cleared you over and over and over again. And they've gone so far as to apologize for having left you under that umbrella of suspicion for so long, to the point where Patsy died before she was cleared from that umbrella of suspicion. So for anybody watching, if you're one of the commenters, do your research before you make such painful comments about Jon and his family. Okay, that aside, I will say this because you brought it up when we, I think, spoke at CrimeCon, that you wish that they would ask you to re-interview. You wish that they would bring you in so that you could, once again, tell them everything that they might want to know. Is that, I know you got the meeting in January. Is that on the agenda?
Well, we haven't put it on the agenda yet, but we're going to ask for a meeting again in January for an update. And they've always been, at least with Chief Redfern, very cordial in honoring that request. So, you know, they've been fairly quiet about what they're doing. I think if I read between the lines of his latest report that he issued, there's some encouraging words there. And so I'm more optimistic than I've been in a long time, certainly with new leadership. You know, the problem with the old leadership, it was the old guard. These people that were in that.
Well, that's good that he feels encouraged for, you know, because as the years go on, I suppose sometimes he must just give up thinking that it's ever going to get solved. But of course, it's never going to go away for him. And as Ashley said earlier, unfortunately, Patsy never got to hear. Patsy never got to find out anything. Will he? You know, will he get to find out something before he leaves this planet?
Police department had never investigated a murder. They decided on day one that we were guilty, literally day one, and that became the conclusion that they tried to fit the evidence to. And of course, they ran into problems because they couldn't fit the evidence.
Right. I should mention as well, just
thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your
Okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to let you know about that because that's a big case, an important case, a case we followed. But is it just the usual sort of coming up to the anniversary of when it happened? And, you know, it seems like there's always something like that every year. Is it just the usual or is there more to it this time? Is it true that they do have new evidence and it might result in solving this mystery and at least giving, I mean, it's possible after all these years that whoever did do this to Jon Benet may not be alive anymore. So, but it still wouldn't matter, would it? As long as they could, you know, just it could be established who it was and also clear this family for once and for all, because people are still, as Ashley Banfield said there, despite the fact that they've been cleared by the police and the DNA evidence and that, you know, I think people are still focusing on the family because there's just not anybody else, you know. So I think that's basically where it comes down to. So anyway, I'll keep you posted if I hear any more, you know, in the new year. I'll keep you posted about it. So, okay, so what we're gonna talk. Oh, so now we're going to talk briefly about Celeste Rivas. I'll put her picture up. Oh, hang on. This is another mysterious case. Of course, they're all mysterious. That's why we end up talking about them. Because if they were straightforward, we probably wouldn't talk about them. But Celeste, this girl, she was 14 years old when she was last seen alive. She was then, or even maybe 13. I mean, it's not clear. The timeline isn't clear in this case. And Celeste was she's been described as a troubled teen. She ran away from home a few times, and she was in a relationship with a guy called David, but not normal David, like D4VD David, because he was an aspiring singer, songwriter, very strange guy, basically. His songs, there's a lot of, he seems to be obsessed with macabre things. Let's actually have a look at David. So I haven't got a picture of him up. I don't like showing a picture of him really, but we need to see one, I suppose, just so we understand who we're talking about. And David is, I think, early 20s, so he's a man, but he was allegedly, now this is an ongoing case, so we can only talk allegedly, supposedly, having a relationship with Celeste, despite the fact she was only 13 years old. I think that's more or less established. She was on his, because he was big on TikTok and all the social media, etc. He was just becoming really famous. He'd sort of started off slow burn, and then he was taking off. He had a European tour planned, an American tour, European tour. This was in Hollywood. He lived. He was becoming really, really famous, and then suddenly his Tesla that had been towed away, where it had been illegally parked. His Tesla car was in what would you call it? Was in a yard, where they take cars to when they get towed away because they're parked illegally. And the staff there noticed a smell coming from the car and called the police. The police opened up the car, and there was the very sadly deceased and dismembered, allegedly, but that's not been, confirmed yet, body. But it has been confirmed there is Celeste, this young girl. And she was in the front, what they call the front bonnet of the car, in a plastic bag, and and this was quite a long time ago now, that Celeste was actually found, but again, no arrest has been made. The police have named David as a suspect, but he has not been arrested. So it's still in the very early days of the investigation, etc. So, as a couple of weeks ago, I said I wasn't going to do any more videos about this case because it was all too woolly and a lot of alleged things. There was rumours that Celeste had been frozen before she was put in the frunk, but then the police came out and said no, there was no justification for that. That was just a rumour. So it was all a bit like that. So the reason I'm coming on to talk to you about it now is because allegedly, again, we have to remember that these things are allegedly, that a burn cage was found in David's home. When the police went and searched David's home, they found an incinerator. Now, whether this is true or not, but apparently you can burn bodies in it. Now, he hadn't burnt Celeste in it because Celeste's body was in the car. But was that the plan? Was that the plan? Just makes you wonder. Hi, Finola. Oh my God, yeah, good job. Oh. So Finola's daughter wanted to see him play in Dublin. Yeah, he was coming to Spain as well. He had a big tour. He was in the middle of a massive tour, wasn't he? And then, of course, he had to cancel everything because of the finding. I mean, at the end of the day, someone, a deceased person gets found in your car. I can't believe he hasn't been arrested yet. I honestly, now I know they've got to establish that he put Celeste in that car, or either on his own or with somebody else. But, you know, these Teslas, they have so many cameras and, you know, there's so much data. Maybe they're trying to get all the data. Maybe it's not as easy as just, you know, getting the data. You know, there'll be records of when the trunk was opened, when it was closed, surely. You know, I mean, just because he's not been arrested does not mean that the investigation is not, you know, continuing. Of course it is. And, you know, it'll happen when it happens, I suppose. And the law enforcement have said he is a suspect. But why would you have an incinerator in your home? I mean, really? You know, I know, you know, did David have money to burn? I mean, you just think, you know, when you make it big and you've got all this money at your disposal and everything, would you want to buy this? Would this be on your list of something to buy when you make it big? Anyway, we're going to Banfield. I think this is a video from Ashley again.
And I also have an update tonight on the case of the singer David and the runaway teen girlfriend who was found dead in the trunk of his Tesla. For weeks, we've been wondering just what it was that a private investigator named Steve Fisher found inside David's home when he was given access last October. The PI reported seeing, quote, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. And today, we are learning about one of those items. Steve Fisher has confirmed it was something called a burn cage. Take a look at your screen. That's what a burn cage looks like. It's used usually on farms to incinerate waste.
You know, I'm absolutely speechless. Was that the plan? You know, because I'm not sure. Originally, I was thinking, well, did he park the car there so it would get towed away and get flattened, you know, like cars do? Was that his plan, to get rid of this body? But now looking at this, you think, well, was he planning on going out somewhere in the country with this? Is it the sort of thing that you can transport? You couldn't use that in the house, could you? How could you use that in the house? You know, so this is, honestly, this case is, you know, all the cases that we cover are batshit in some way or another, but this is just... you know, literally, it makes me speechless.
And debris, but lots of private homes have them as well.
Oh, private homes
This particular model can apparently get up to a whopping 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 200 degrees hotter than the temperature required to burn human bones. And this is the photograph Steve took of that burn device, the burn cage inside David's home. He noted that these types of incinerators are...
Now, was the actual burn cage inside the box or was it an empty box? Don't know.
Illegal in LA County, and that even if it were a prop, say used for a music video, still doesn't seem to be much of a reason for it to be delivered to his home. Still no word on it. Well,
there's always that possibility, because he made these very strange videos, didn't he, where he's covered in blood and God knows what. So there's a possibility it could be for a prop.
An arrest in this case, but with evidence like this, might only be a matter of time.
Let's just watch that again. We'll watch it one more time. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you about it. It's still very...
And I also have an update tonight on the case of the singer David and the runaway teen girlfriend who was found dead in the trunk of his Tesla. For weeks, we've been wondering just what it was that a private investigator named Steve Fisher found inside David's home when he was given access last October. The PI reported seeing, quote, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. And today, we are learning about one of those items. Steve Fisher has confirmed it was something called a burn cage. Take a look at your screen. That's what a burn cage looks like. It's used usually on farms to incinerate waste and debris, but lots of private homes have them as well. This particular model can apparently get up to a whopping 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 200 degrees hotter than the temperature required to burn human bones. And this is the photograph Steve took of that burn device, the burn cage inside David's home. He noted that these types of incinerators are illegal in LA County, and that even if it were a prop, say used for a music video, still doesn't seem to be much of a reason for it to be delivered to his home. Still no word on an arrest in this case, but with evidence like this, might only be a matter of time.
Well, hopefully it is just a matter of time. And this poor girl, she's another one. You know, there you go. No justice. I think it was September, wasn't it? She was found. I don't think she was Finola. I think, according to the autopsy, she was not pregnant, because that was speculation. That was speculation in the beginning, wasn't it? That it might be because she was pregnant. Then there was speculation that she might have had a drug overdose. And then, you know, so it would only be a case of tampering with the body, not actual homicide. But the police have said now it is a homicide. They haven't released a cause of death. They're still waiting for toxicology. And they have not arrested David, but they have said that they have named him as a suspect. So, yeah. Poor Celeste. I mean, the thing is, what we do know for sure is this poor 13 or 14-year-old girl, however old she was when she actually died, is dead. And she was found in this car. So sooner or later, please God, somebody is going to be found. You know, the police are probably just crossing, dotting their I's and crossing their T's. They've got to get it right. This is what we talked about in the Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle case. The police, they have to do things right, because they're always going to be thinking about the court case further down the line. They don't want to do things wrong. You know, they don't want to do things wrong. They want to do things right, because they don't want, when it comes to a trial, some clever defense lawyer bringing up something that they did wrong and it ends up in a mistrial or whatever. So, yeah, they're taking their time. So we don't know where David is at the moment. You know, where is he? No idea. So anyway. So just wanted to tell you about that. So that's, where are we? That's the third thing I wanted to. So we've talked about Paul Doyle. We've talked about Jon Benet Ramsay. We've talked about Celeste. Now we're going to talk about the latest in the Rob and Michelle Reiner murder situation. Allegedly killed by their own son. You know, and I did quite a deep dive on this case yesterday. So I'm not going into the whole case and, you know, what happened, just the basic thing of it, that and just talk about things that have happened since I did that deep dive yesterday. So, yeah, Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. Rob's a famous director who directed When Harry Met Sally, and lots of other things. He was also an actor back in the day. He's Hollywood royalty. His wife is a famous photographer who's photographed Trump at some point as well. Trump was very ungracious, wasn't he, about their murders by their own son. And, you know, I'm just finished with Donald Trump completely. I thought he was a tosser before, but now I just can't even bear him. He's definitely a candidate for Twonk of the Year. He couldn't even be gracious to these parents who'd been murdered in their own home, brutally murdered, probably by their own son. He couldn't even say a decent word, because he brought it all back to him and politics. because Rob Reiner doesn't share his politics. He's a confirmed Democrat. On the night that they were killed on a Sunday, and that night the Obamas were supposed to be going around for dinner, you know. So yeah. And Trump, he just couldn't be gracious, could he? So he's just I'd love to put him in the hellhole, actually. Anyway, we'll look forward to tomorrow when the Epstein files drop. Somebody was saying on social media, Trump is bound to declare war on someone now to try and detract from it. Well, we'll see. So this is this lovely couple. They have 3 children together. And Jake is their oldest son, and then the boy who's accused of killing them, he's 30, I think, or in his early 30s, Nick. And then they've got a daughter, Romy, and it was their daughter, Romy, who very sadly had to actually find her parents murdered. So they were supposed to have a massage. The massage therapist turned up, couldn't get access to the home. So she contacted Romy, the daughter, and said, you know, I can't get in, nobody's answering. So Romy only lives over the road. She went in there with her keys and found, first of all, her father. And I think initially she didn't realise that her mother was also deceased in the home. And it seems that they were in different rooms, because there's been sort of, you know, it makes you wonder how someone can overpower 2 people. Supposedly, he actually SLIT their throats. That's quite difficult to do, because you'd have to be in front of someone, unless you were behind. I mean, it's just horrible. So did he do it while they were asleep? You know, I mean, we don't know. We don't know the details, and probably good thing that we don't, because it was horrible. But all we do know is that Romy had to find that, you know. And then it turned out that their son, Nick, who's had all these problems with mental health and drug addiction over the years, he's been arrested and charged with the murder of Rob and Michelle. He has not come up with it. So he appeared in court for the first time yesterday. Now let me put a few windows down, and then I can concentrate on that. Well, let's have a look at this. So we're going to have a look at a YouTube video of him that's resurfaced. It's 9 years old, that probably illustrates his mental health struggles a little bit. We're going to watch that. But first of all, so this was him apparently in court. He was wearing a suicide prevention jacket. No photos were allowed to be taken of him. He only spoke once to say, yes, Your Honor. His lawyer, who was, as we were talking about, as we were saying the other day, his lawyer that's been contracted, we don't know who's been contracted. So see this self-deletion jacket. It looks like that sort. He's got no clothes on underneath it or anything. I mean, you know, he definitely has got mental health issues, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know. There he is with Rob. You know, I think all the cases are sad, but I think this is so sad because I expect these parents just tried so hard to help Nick, and it just didn't work, did it? Didn't work. So anyway, his lawyer, let's have a look, because his lawyer did speak, even though he wasn't filmed speaking. Let's see. He spoke after the court hearing. Let's have a look at this. Now, don't forget that his lawyer is the same. He's got over a 90% success rate in his cases. And one of his most high-profile successes was the Karen Reid case. So for those of you who followed the Karen Reid case, Karen Reid mowed down her boyfriend, allegedly, John O'Keefe. Well, she was found not guilty in the end, so we have to say she didn't. But most people, I think, or many people, thought Karen Reid was guilty of deliberately killing John O'Keefe. But anyway, she was found innocent. And part of the reason she was found innocent was because of he's such a good defense lawyer. He's also defended Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein, and other sort of high-profile Hollywood bad boys and girls, if you like. So he hasn't revealed who contracted him to take on this case. I wouldn't be surprised if he volunteered to take it on pro bono, because the publicity is going to get from this case is going to be off the wall. So let's see. Oh, there's a dog.
If we could, I would like to ask for a continuance of the arraignment. I don't want to complete at this juncture. It's too early. We've coordinated with counsel from the DA's office, and January 7th, with the court's permission, will be a convenient date for us to come back for potential arraignment.
Thank you. This time I'll take a waiver, speedy arraignment waiver from your client. Mr. Reiner, you have a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy arraignment. Your counsel is requesting that your arraignment be continued to January 7, 2026. Do you waive your right to a speedy arraignment so that your arraignment can be heard on January 7, 2026? And does counsel join in the waiver?
I join, Your Honor.
The court finds that the defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of his right to a speedy arraignment, and that his counsel joins in that waiver.
So he's waived his right to a speedy arraignment, and he'll now be arraigned on January the 7th. So this lawyer is a very clever man. He's got a lot. He wants more time to think about what the defense is going to be. He's got a lot of possibilities. He says it's a complex case. So now it's going to be arraigned on January the 7th. Now, he did speak outside the courtroom. That's really what I want to... Okay, we're just carrying on.
January 7, 2026 for arraignment in this department. Bail to stand at no bail. Anything further on that case?
Not by the defense, Your Honor.
Anything further?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, yeah.
So that was Attorney Alan Jackson, who's representing Nick Reiner, waiving the right to a speedy arraignment. So no plea yet from Nick Reiner there. They have now rescheduled the arraignment to January 7th, and we're waiting for the attorneys to speak outside court. Let's listen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just have a couple of quick words. First of all, and most importantly, this is a devastating tragedy that has befallen the Reiner family. We all recognize that. Our hearts go out to the entire Reiner family. There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. These need to be thoroughly but very carefully dealt with and examined and looked at and analyzed. And we ask that during this process you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward, not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions, but with restraint and with dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves and that the family deserves. So with that, we are set for January 7th for an arraignment. That's the next court date. And that's all I have to say at this point. There may be more at some other point, but today we're going to rest on where we stand procedurally, which is this was a continuance of arraignment. Nothing happened today substantively. We'll be back for an arraignment in the same department on the 7th of January. We'll see you then.
So, in the meantime, this family has been devastated, haven't they? You know, coming up to Christmas, their Christmas as their Hanukkah, first of all, because it was Hanukkah when it happened, Festival of Light, etc. And although obviously if they're Jewish, they don't celebrate Christmas in itself, as but there would be, it would be like a party, you know, a party sort of time for them. They had Christmas decorations up, wreaths and things like that. Just so that's something I remember from the Jon Benet Ramsay case, seeing the way the house had been decorated for Christmas, and they had all these candy canes. God, it was like Hansel and Gretel, you know, like the candy leading to the sort of scary house, because that's where Jon Benet had been murdered. But there was these like candy canes lining the pavement going up to the house, and this has given me that same eerie feeling. There's people looking forward to the festivities, you know, one way or another, parties, things like that, you know, and then this horrible, devastating crime, you know, whatever the truth is behind it, whatever, you know, I don't know what defense he's going to come up with. You know, he got Karen Reid off. If he got Karen Reid off, he's pretty good with his, you know, he's a clever guy, but I don't know what he's going to do, how he's going to defend this issue. We just don't know, do we? It's, you know, pretty sort of terrifying, really. Anyway, so this family that are absolutely devastated. So let's just jump forward there a bit so that we can see. There's Rob with Nick in better times. Here's all the family together. You've got Nick, Jake, the older son, Romy in the middle, and the mum and dad, Michelle, and Rob in happier times. You know, and there were times that Nick was on the straight and narrow and seemed better. Anyway, the family have given a statement, which I'm going to read out to you. I just can't imagine how they're all feeling, because not only they've lost their mum and dad to a brutal murder, it's one of their own family that have, seem to have done it, you know. So yeah, let's have a look at this statement. So they released a statement saying this: words cannot even begin to describe, let's just share it on here. Words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we are experiencing every moment of the day. The horrific and devastating loss of our parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, is something no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friends. We're grateful for the outpouring of condolences, kindness, and support we've received not only from family and friends, but people from all walks of life. We now ask for respect and privacy, for speculation to be tempered with compassion and humanity, and for our parents to be remembered for the incredible lives they lived and the love they gave. So, yes, thanks, Donald Trump, for your lovely thing that you said. You know, like, he's a vile man. He's got no grace whatsoever. So here we go. We have a family in mourning. And, you know, even Nick, when he sort of wakes up from whatever psychosis he was going through, he'll realise he's lost the people that loved him, probably, maybe even the only people that loved him unconditionally, that tried their best to help him. You know, that's a big loss for him, and it's his own fault. You know, he's got to live with that. He's 30 years old, or just over 30, and he's got to live with that for the rest of his life. Anyway, so now we're going to look at this YouTube video that's come up. So apparently he had a YouTube channel. He had 95 subscribers. This is 9 years ago. Well, it'll give you a little bit of an insight into Nick's state of mind, maybe.
To know how you get your exercise in because you're so lean.
I do it like ISIS.
Do it like ISIS. Nice.
I usually only do one at a time. And I don't even care if anyone calls me a Sally because I'm a snail and I'm never gonna fucking fail. And you know what? You're gonna have to bail me out of jail.
All right.
Yep. No, you know, this, you know, he has had every privilege that he could possibly have, and he just, you know, wasted it all. And I know that addiction's a strong thing, and you know, I'm torn, which I sort of feel sorry for him in a way, and then there's part of me that just thinks you're just a selfish little shit, entitled. You just think you're entitled to everything, you know, like, and you didn't even appreciate what they were trying to do for you. But then, you know, then in the next moment, I think, well, it's mental illness, it's addiction, you know, you can't control it. You know, I just waver all the time with what I think about this guy.
Where'd you get this weed?
Say and spell your first and last name for me.
I ain't gonna tell you my first and last name. Most people.
Yeah, talks about the weed. He's a weed addict, heroin addict, you name it. He was taking it. Meth.
Know me as Did David.
We're wondering
Do you
what.
know how long this interview is gonna be?
You're gonna say I'm an asshole?
This is producer Katya. Of this book. This is one of my favorite reads when I'm sitting by the campfire or like relaxing in Malibu.
And it's all rock and roll based. Sorry, I'm not into this rap thing. You know.
And that hurts my feelings, but like I love rock and roll as well, so I'm glad we can.
Okay, good. See you in Japan.
Yeah. I can't wait for Japan.
Why did you, when you were sitting by the campfire, why did you invite all those young kids to come sit by the fire and have you read to them about it? I mean, I thought that was kind of odd.
That is totally falsified in every way.
Yeah, falsified.
Fuck Donald Trump. No. He's my man. He's my man.
Oh, this is man. No, that's not a surprise. Now, actually, it's funny you said that. He said he's my man because his parents. That's why Donald Trump doesn't like Rob and Michelle, because they were confirmed liberals. You know, they were quite vocal. They didn't like Donald Trump. They don't agree with his policies. And, you know, Donald can't stand any criticism, can he? Dozy Donald. He can't take any criticism. He couldn't be gracious and concentrate on the good work that Rob and Michelle had done. You know, he had to just bring it all down to the fact they didn't agree with what he had to say. So it's interesting. He said, he's my man, you know. So, you know, quite often troubled kids, they sort of go against whatever their parents believe in, don't they? It's almost like, you know, so if his parents were confirmed liberals, like they had the bloody Obamas coming around for dinner that night, they were, you know, proud sort of liberals, you know, and they didn't make any bones about it. And he said that Trump's his man. Right, okay. Whatever. YouTube's definitely kind of, they don't like songs, so I just turn the sound down while there's a song on. When he talks, I'll put it back. Let's see. YouTube, because I'm doing a live stream, if YouTube detects anything copyright, they'll just chuck me off straight away. Yeah, I have to have it sound down, I'm afraid. Is that his sister? Oh.
Military. He's actually dead. She's died in Iraq.
Is that your sister?
I'm still Jenny from the block.
No introduction. Jenny from the cul-de-sac, of course. She has a boyfriend now.
I'm still Jenny from the block.
No introduction. Jenny from the cul-de-sac, of course. She has a boyfriend now who's in the military. He's actually dead.
Oh.
She's died in Iraq. She moved to Patagonia. What was it?
Pasadena.
I guess it could have been pretty awkward when PETA approached you about joining their team.
I'm gonna go kill that fucking dog.
Oh, he's gonna go and kill that fucking dog. Oh, he's nice, isn't he? Nice guy.
Why do you like Snapple so much?
Mainly because when I'm done drinking it, I can go in my room and squirt lotion in it and then use it to stick my penis in.
Oh, you know what? I mean, he's just a charmer, isn't he? Just an absolute charmer. What a horrible, horrible man.
I just come out to gather my my sick thoughts. They know the David who go on stage, who has his ways about him, but you know, they really want to know what's inside. Because I like fucking spat on his windshield.
I think we would all just be blown away if you could kind of walk us down Freestyle Alley. Oh, look, there's one of your fans now.
That's Barbara. She's blind, so that's why she didn't see the wave. The geniuses, the brilliant ones, the people. I'm referring to myself, if you're curious.
You know, we're close to making a deal that will, of course, make him the worldwide star that he deserves to be.
50 million on the line, and they were like practically just jacking me off the whole time.
Party.
So yeah, he's just smoking dope or crack or whatever he's smoking, doing whatever, swearing, saying horrible things. No wonder his YouTube channel's only got 95 subscribers. I expect it'll blow up now when people get to know. People will be watching this video because once they get to know about it.
Yo. I feel like I'm like 100 different people. Right, do you feel really? I do too.
So what a waste, you know,
I got
like
100 personality disorder.
Okay, I'm scared of them.
Dude, I was just about to. You just want to fucking pussy. My mouth is getting a little parched because of how much I'm talking to y'all, but
we really haven't really delved into anything deep, so.
So, let's go back.
Everyone wants to know how you get your exercise in because you're so.
Oh yeah, so it's he's only got 98 subscribers, but this video now has got 22,000 views. I bet it didn't have. I didn't notice how many views it had when I first looked at it, but I don't think it was 22,000. I think it was about 100 and something. So yeah, people will be watching this video now. This video will probably go viral, won't it? Yeah, he is a twonk. You're right. And yeah, I'm going to put the twonk one up as well. Exactly right. He is a twonk. You know, I don't know if that's mental illness or just a shit. You know what I mean? There's a fine line, isn't there? Is he, you know, is he mentally ill? Or is he just a shit? You know, I'm not sure. Anyway, I just want to say I feel for the family and what they've all got to face. And even him, he's going to get a shock when he sort of comes round or whatever. He's killed those people who cared about him the most. But anyway, yeah, spoiled brat. Spoiled, entitled brat. I personally agree with that. But we'll see, because there'll be mental health history. I don't know if he's ever been diagnosed with anything. And he did have periods where he came out. You know, he was in rehab 16 times. And as I said in my video yesterday, if these parents have probably gone through hell with this boy, and they've tried their very best to help him. And if even people with their resources couldn't manage to help their son, and it even resulted in their murder, what chance have normal people got who can't afford to send their children to rehab and stuff? You know, so difficult. And as I also said, I hope the only good thing that comes out of this case is it starts some sort of debate about how to cope, you know, with these kind of things. So yeah, you're right, Finola. Mental health problem. There's people who have diagnosed with mental health issues don't go off and murder their parents, do they? So there you go. Okay, so it's a theme that it's a subject that needs addressing. I hope that's what's happened. We won't probably find anything out now till January when he reappears in court. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. So now I'm going to talk about the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this live, which again is a case that I haven't, it's been maybe a week since I did any update on Anna Kepner. She, of course, was the poor girl that was found deceased on the Carnival cruise ship. And it seems apparent that it was her stepbrother who killed her. She allegedly, again, you know, until we get proper information from the police, but allegedly she was killed by probably an arm lock. She was found stuffed under her bed by a staff member, wrapped in blankets and covered in life jackets on this cruise ship. Nobody's been arrested. Her stepbrother, I think, is the likely suspect, but he's not he's been moved out of his family home and he's living in another relative's home. And why is he not in custody? Now he's only 16. So is that why? Anyway, what I want to show you, this update that I want to talk about is not actually to do with Anna's case so much, but this is such a complicated family dynamic. So Anna went on the cruise with her biological father, his I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend. So people are calling her stepmother. I don't know if they were actually married. The stepmother has children. Oh God, I've forgotten now the whole thing. Anyway, Anna was sharing a stateroom on the cruise with her biological brother, who we're going to see testify, I think, in a moment. Oh, no, it's not him, I don't think. Oh, gosh. Is it? It's so confusing, this case. She was sharing a stateroom with her biological brother, I believe, and her stepbrother, the 16-year-old stepbrother. He's the one that's alleged to have been obsessed with Anna, displayed strange behaviour towards her before, according to Anna's ex-boyfriend. But Anna's stepmother said they were like the three amigos, that they wanted to all stay together. They got on really well. There was no problems with behaviour, etc. So where does the truth lie? All we know that really for certain is that this poor girl got onto that cruise ship alive and came off it in a body bag. And somebody killed her. Somebody killed her because she didn't wrap herself in a blanket and cover herself with life jackets and put herself under the bed. So now, while the investigation's going on about what happened to Hannah, a separate thing that is going on is that her stepmother is involved in a custody battle for her children with her previous partner, her previous husband. And that includes the boy who's under suspicion for Anna's murder. So there's been family court proceedings. And it gives us a bit of an insight. We're going to watch these the latest court hearing. Give us a bit of an insight about the situation in this family. Anna, honest to God, my heart bleeds for her. I feel like nobody really cares about Anna. They all seem to care about this boy, even her own biological grandparents. I haven't seen anyone really be emotional for Anna, even her own biological mum, although she did get emotional, but she's an ex-drug addict. She's more concerned about how it affects her. Everybody's concerned about how it affects them. And in the meantime, there's Anna. She should be looking forward to Christmas now. Should have had a great time on that cruise. And anyway, she was brought off it in a body bag. So we're going to have a look at this court hearing. That'll give us a bit of an insight, I think, into the whole sort of family dynamics. So this is Fox 35 Orlando. Let's go to the beginning. So this is the stepmother, Shauna, I think her name is. This is Anna's biological. And that's them leaving the courtroom by the look of it. Let's see.
How will you ensure justice is served for Anna?
We begin in Titusville, a family staying quiet about the murder of their 18-year-old daughter.
So, yeah, now, going back to Anna's biological father, the thing that we need to remember about him is he's got, he likes the young girls. He had an affair with his babysitter. So while he was married to Anna's biological mum, he had an affair with the babysitter who was underage. And then when she got to the age of the massive age of 18, he married her. But that split up, that relationship split up. And according to Anna's biological mum, again, it's only what she says, he's had, 26 affairs while they were together, 3 of which were with underage girls. So, he doesn't seem to be a very nice man, does he? And this is Anna's biological father.
Staying quiet about the murder of their 18-year-old daughter. The Kepners were back in court today for a hearing, for a custody hearing involving Anna's step-siblings. One of those siblings is the lone suspect in Anna's death. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Brown.
Good evening. I'm Luann Sorrell. Today's hearing gave us a look at the family dynamic between Anna and her siblings. Fox 35's Esther Bauer is joining us live tonight. So, Esther, you tried talking to this family as they were leaving the courthouse.
Luann, we tried, but we were again met with silence from both Anna's dad and her stepmom. This comes more than a month after Anna was found dead, stuffed under a cruise ship bed. But we are learning more about all of the turmoil that was taking place inside this family way before the vacation even happened. Have you learned anything from the FBI since Anna was found? It's been over a month. Have they told you anything on possible charges being filed? How will you ensure justice is served for Anna when she died while cruising with her family? Anna's dad, Chris Kepner, and her stepmom, Chantel Hudson, both showing up to the custody battle between Chantel and her ex-husband, Thomas Hudson. In the courtroom, we heard testimony about an alleged assault and how Anna's stepmoms, Chantel Hudson, kept their kids from seeing their dad for more than a year. All of this turmoil leading up to Anna's stepbrother now being named a suspect in her alleged murder. Thomas Hudson says he never gave consent.
So this is Thomas Hudson. He's the biological father of the alleged killer of Anna. He's blaming it, you know, he's trying to get custody back. Gosh, it's such a confusing case, this, isn't it? This whole family dynamic is very confusing.
Or permission for his kids to go on the cruise, but Chantel took them anyway. This isn't the only issue we're seeing between the parents affecting the children. In court, we also learned all of the kids were in therapy for at least a year. The oldest child testified Chantel and Anna's dad, Chris, tried to forcibly move him to Titusville against his will and even restrained him in the car.
So this is the older brother of the 16-year-old that's accused or supposedly has killed Anna. This is the 18-year-old brother, and he's saying he was forcibly made to go with Chris and Shauna.
They had held me against the seat, and he put his arm around the back of my neck, holding me up against the front seat, and she held me there as well.
Was your mother still in the front seat, or did she go to the back seat?
At that time, she had crawled to the back seat and started holding me.
And then Christopher Kepner, what exactly did he do with his arm?
He put his arm around my neck, like pushed me up against the front seat.
Gosh, so he's saying that Chris put his arm around his neck and held him against the seat. That's supposedly how Anna died, wasn't it? Somebody has put her in an arm lock. And now, according to this boy, unless you think, you know, is he lying? I don't know. Why would he lie? That's what Chris did to him. So, you know, arm locks seem to be like a popular theme in this family.
So was your head against the front seat?
Yes, sir.
And did you remain conscious the whole time, or did you black out? Or?
I believe I blacked out once or twice.
We asked Mr. Hudson's attorney about what happened at the hearing. How do you feel that Thomas's other children are staying with a mother who another child died under her care?
It's complicated, isn't it?
It's complicated, isn't it? You know, I'm back in the twilight zone here. It's complicated. Yes, it is complicated. So a child has died under their care, or a young girl, I think she was 18. The stepbrother, the older stepbrother, is there in court saying that Chris has put him in an arm lock and make him black out a couple of times. And all this lawyer's got to say, oh, yes, it's complicated, isn't it? Oh, my God, honestly, what is happening? And in the meantime, the boy who supposedly has done this to Anna is staying with a relative. I wouldn't have him under my roof.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Are the other children safe under their care?
I'm sorry, I can't answer any more about that. That was already discussed in another hearing. We made our motion. We tried to have that happen. The court ruled what they did. Obviously, what we're doing right now is to make sure that Mr. Hudson gets to see his children in accordance with the prior parenting plan.
Oh my God.
And still no word from the FBI on possible charges being filed in this case. A judge did not have enough time to get through all the witnesses who were called to court, so this family will be back in court for another hearing. Reporting live in Vieira, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
Thanks, Esther.
There you go.
Respond in this case goes ahead and tells the
Poor Anna. Poor Anna. You know, what is going to happen in this case? I just don't know. What this poor girl, you know. Now, somebody, one of Anna's family, oh, David, you missed the thing about Anna. Somebody in Anna's family, let's have a look. I'm sure somebody spoke up from Anna. All right, we watched the grandparents the other day. Now, let's have a look at this. Let's just recap what we do know, which isn't much really, is it? We just know that she's been found, she was found dead. I mean, really, we don't know a lot more, do we? But apparently her aunt, Crystal Wright, has said it's a turmoil. We're just sitting here waiting. No, she said that they learned from unrelated custody documents that the 16-year-old stepbrother is considered a suspect. We don't understand why, if he's a suspect, why has he not been charged yet? You know, there's really so little that we know. But anyway, that court case, that court hearing there, I think that gave us a very interesting insight into this family. So it turns out, so the older brother, let's just recap it, it's finished. The older brother of the person, the 16-year-old who is thought to have killed Anna, his older brother there was just speaking in family court, and he said that Anna's biological dad had him in an arm lock in the car and he blacked out a couple of times. And don't forget, it's an arm lock that killed Anna. So, you know, there's violence in this family, isn't there? There's violence in the family. And, you know, that's quite severe violence. I mean, you know, I think in most families there'll be fights and arguments and pushing and shoving, but putting someone in an arm lock, because that is so dangerous. Because I still believe personally, I think that boy maybe put her in an arm lock, messing around like maybe he's seen, Anna's dad do, or maybe Anna's dad had done it to him as well. And he did it. Maybe he just held on that bit too long, or he caught her in the wrong place. I don't believe that he intentionally tried to kill her, because it just seems like the most ridiculous thing to do on a cruise ship when you're staying in the same room as someone. But of course, people do ridiculous things, don't they? So it could be that he did mean to do it. You know, yeah, exactly. Confused, you will be. I mean, it's just... You know, and at the heart of it all is this young girl who, yeah, she won't be celebrating Christmas this year, will she? Don't know why, but just get the feeling that they'll still be celebrating Christmas. I don't feel that there's any emotion there about Anna dying, or, you know, and obviously I don't know what goes on in private, and maybe they do, maybe they are heartbroken, but you just don't get that feeling with that stepmother and Anna's biological father. You know, he is a PDF, let's not forget. He's not a nice person. And in the meantime, Anna's paid with her life. She won't be there to enjoy Christmas. And they've got other children, you know, so I just get this feeling about them. They don't seem to be upset enough, but anyway, you know, what do I know? Okay, I'm going to leave you now. I've gone through those 5 cases. As I say, I'm going to split this video up and, you know, into the individual cases and release those later. So tonight is Members Live. So exclusive Members Live tonight. If you want to join in that live, it'll probably be at 8 or 9 o'clock Spanish time. Not decided yet exactly what time. But hope if you want to join, you can. I just want to show this bit. Look, Anna, just a typical young girl, taking her selfies, doing her TikTok videos like they all do. And just taken. Her life was taken. I think it might be an accident. I've said that right from the beginning. And now, hearing what was said in that court, that Chris actually did that arm lock thing to the suspect's older brother, makes you think, did he do it to him? Did he think he could copy Chris? And then maybe he just pushed that too hard or held it too long, or Anna was too fragile, or he caught her in the wrong place. You know, was he lying on top of her at the same time and, you know, squeezing the breath out of her because he was seen jumping on top of her by the ex-boyfriend at some point? I think he was definitely roughhousing with Anna, bullying her maybe a little bit, and he just went too far. That's what I think. I hope he didn't mean to kill her. I can't believe that he did on a cruise ship like that, you know, because it's just, you know, ridiculous, isn't it? And then it makes you wonder, what did he do when he realised that he had killed her? I mean, he stuffed her under the bed and he put the life jackets on her. Did he go to his mum and tell her about it? Did they know? I mean, you know, so much we don't know yet in this case. Okay, I'll see you really soon in the next video, hopefully tonight, if you remember. And until then, rest in peace, all these people that we've talked about. Celeste, Jon Benet, not Nick Reiner, but his mum and dad, Rob and Michelle, and Anna, of course. We say a little prayer for them, and just hope they get justice. That's all we can pray for. Thanks for watching. I'll see you really soon in the next video. Till then, may your God go with you. Let's put the candle up. I'm just thinking which song to play out with. I think I'm going to play out with a more upbeat Christmas song, just to try and cheer us up a bit. Bye.
Welcome to the channel, it's Vicky Marie. Spitting out the flavor, making history. Subscribers rolling in, family feels fresh. Jump into the vibe, leave the comments, no stress. From street talks to makeup, we cover it all. Chopping up the beats, making big moves, y'all. Urban queen, got the rhythm in her veins. Flow so tight, never stepping out of lanes.
Join the fam, hit that subscribe. Vicky Marie chats, we keep it live. Stay
Stay connected, watch the magic unfold. Members unite, let's strike gold. Chat's blowing up like we running the game. Hip hop roots, we douse it in flame. Fresh content coming at you every week. Stay for the laugh, the wisdom, the street. Got something for everyone. Sizzle and pop, unfiltered vibes. We never gonna stop. Engage with the crew, let your voice be heard. Tune in, always spread the word.
Join the fam, hit that subscribe. Vicky Marie chats, we keep it live.
Stay connected, watch the magic unfold. Members unite, let's try.